once again. So my talk is on concepts of fixed loop and adjustable loop devices. So these are the suspensory fixation used in the ACL reconstruction. So the evolution of femoral side fixation came initially, people were using transfixation pins, and then moved on to suspensory fixation like fixed loop devices, adjustable loop devices, and also a few prefer to use interference screws, that is aperture fixation with metals or bio screws, and sutures and staples are extra articular fixation devices. So the fixed loop device is a first generation suspensory fixation. It's an extra articular device made of a metallic button and polyurethane ribbon. So it keeps a graft in tension to maintain the bone to graft interface for healing. So the fixed loop device contains a titanium metallic button and a lead suture, the stronger lead suture where the button is pulled up, and then the flipping suture, and the polyurethane ribbon which encloses the graft within it. So the fixed loop devices comes with many sizes, 14 mm, 15 mm, or 20 mm are kept in the armamentarium for each cases. Depending on the size of the tunnel, the total condylar width, the appropriate size of the fixed loop is taken. So the 20 mm button means that the polyurethane ribbon size is about 20 mm. So that's how the size of the fixed loop devices are made. So all the different various sizes are to be kept ready before ACL reconstruction for an appropriate selection of the button. So how to calculate the socket length, that is the amount of graft that goes into the femoral socket. Femoral socket is determined by the calculation. So the length of socket of 8 mm diameter to be reamed is determined from the calculation of total width of the condyle minus the fixed loop length, that is 15 mm button or 20 mm button. So plus 7 mm extra additional reaming is required for the flipping of the button. So for example, if the total condylar width is 35 and then the 15 mm loop is taken, so plus 7, it gives a 27 mm of socket length has to be drilled into the femoral condyle. So here we'll see how it is done. So first is to know the total condylar width. So with the help of the femoral jig, the guide pin is inserted into the femoral footprint area. It's drilled into the footprint area, and here we can see it is a Mark 4, that is 4 centimeter or 40 mm. So it's around 38 mm is the total condylar width from this guide pin measurement. So the guide pin is drilled through and through from the condyle to the lateral cortex, and then it is taken. So here we can see that the amount of socket that needs to be drilled is determined from the total condylar width. Total condylar width, that is from the guide pin measurement, and the loop which we are going to choose. So in that case, it was 38 mm was the total condylar width, and 15 mm loop was taken for it. Plus 7 gives the 30 mm of femoral socket needs to be drilled for the graft to go in the femoral side. So here we can. So here we can see that the graft is being loaded onto the fixed loop device, and then marking is taken from the tip of the button. So the marking can be taken from the tip of the button. The total condylar width can be measured onto the graft, or the measurement can be done from the tip of the graft, the socket, the amount of socket from the calculation. So here we can see that the graft is taken into the socket, the white being the leading suture, takes the graft along in the vertical position of the button. So once it goes, and then when the button flips, then we have to check it with alternatively pulling on the lead suture and the flipping suture, where the button would dangle on the femoral cortex outside. So that gives the tactile sensation that button is flipped, and confirmation can be done from the counter pulling of the graft from the below. So the disadvantages of a fixed loop is the loop is fixed in length. So various implant sizes are required for various condylar width of the patient, and inaccurate measurement can lead to some kind of laxity and bungee cord effect. And single graft like SEMI-T alone cannot be may not be possible to use with the fixed loop devices, because more amount of graft would go into the femoral socket, leading to shortage in the tibial side. The single graft may not be possible to use. An additional 7 mm is needed to be drilled, that creates a dead space inside the femoral socket, where it can harbor some final fluid and may cause tunnel whitening at the later stage. So in case of inadvertent through and through drilling of 8 mm, then there are few companies which provide this extendo button, that is the button encapsulate, which can hold on and provide around 10 mm of size of the button, so which can sit on the femoral cortex, and still the procedure can be salvaged with the fixed loop device. Coming to the adjacent loop device, it's a second generation fixation device, where it is a single lock mechanism. It can rigidly maintain the length while a load larger than threshold is applied. So again here, similar way, first the total condylar width is measured from the drill pin guide. The same is measured, so it's around 38 mm is a total condylar width. So now the marking of the graft, which is very important. So here the marking is, the two markings are to be made. Sorry. So the two markings are to be made, one onto the one in the threads, and other marking is the amount of socket to be drilled, which we determine minimum of 18 mm to 20 mm can be drilled, and that marking is made onto the graft. Second, the second marking is from the amount of socket which we drill from, which can be seen from the arthroscopic view. So here we can see that the amount of socket is around 18 to 20 mm. So that makes the marking on the graft as well. Then the adjustable loop, which is being pulled upon, first the button gets flipped when the first marking comes around the opening of the socket, and then the graft is being pulled. So it exactly matches that marking on the graft. So the advantages here are graft tension. Graft tension can be readjusted even after tibial side fixation in the adjustable loop. The minimum graft movement by reducing the femoral attic height, so there is no dead space inside the femoral socket, and single SEMI-T graft can also be used with the adjustable loop, where we can determine how much of graft needs to be deposited into the femoral socket, and there is no need of extra drilling, and so there is no dead space, and single implant is sufficient in the armamentarium, and all inside ACL is also possible. That is suspensory fixation on femoral side as well as tibial side is possible. The other applications of adjustable loop is we can add on the suture tape onto the adjustable loop for internal bracing structures, and also adjustable loop devices are available for the bone patellar bone grafting. So coming to the literature of comparison of adjustable loop versus fixed loop. So in this study, which was published in 2015, showed that tunnel widening and uh, clinical outcome are comparable in both the groups. And button fixation on the femoral side has a good outcome and lower complication, and undersizing of drilling might be preferred in button fixation to reduce the tunnel widening and improve the stability and clinical satisfaction. So this is a biomechanical study was done to evaluate the strength of two type of cortical suspension devices, and they showed that endo button had a greater mechanical strength than the adjustable loop devices. So this is a systemic review of fixed and adjustable loop from various 13 biomechanical studies and 8 clinical studies showed that despite the superior biomechanical advantage of the fixed loop devices, both had similar clinical outcomes and graft re-rupture rates. So this is another biomechanical study, systemic review, showed that the endo button had the least cyclic displacement than the adjustable loop. This other study which compared various type of adjustable loops like graft max, tightrope, ultra button versus endo button and retro button of different companies, and showed that both had achieved statistically comparable fixation strength for total elongation, and adjustable loop tightrope had a significant greater ultimate strength than the other adjustable loop like Graph Max and Ultra Button when compared with the other devices. So do the adjustable loop lengthen? This study was published in 2018. They had hypothesized that both fixation devices withstood ultimate loads greater than the native ACL, and there was a significant lengthening during cyclic loading. So adjustable loop has an issue of cyclic loading, and they concluded that ultimate load of all graft fixation devices exceeded the force likely to be experienced in the patient knee during the early postoperative period. However, the adjustable loop device experienced clinically significant loop lengthening during cyclic loading. So this lengthening is partially caused by suture slippage into adjustable loop. So in our institute, we have also looked into our patient clinical results between the fixed and adjustable loop device patients, and we have published in 2018 in KSRR journal, where we had looked mainly the tunnel widening between the first generation and second generation implant. So these are results which are comparable when pertaining to tunnel widening clinical scores like IKDC and Lisham scores and laxity from the stress radiograph, but it was not statistically significant. So we concluded that adjacent loop device did not decrease the amount of tunnel widening when compared to the fixed loop device, and there was no statistical significance in outcome between the two fixation devices. So to conclude, ACL reconstruction fixation methods have long been a subject of frequent debate and evolving. The ability to optimize tendon to bone or bone to bone healing with secure graft fixation is the goal. The loop lengthening are seen in adjustable loop devices during cyclical loading, and both has equal and comparable clinical results, and tunnel widening is similar in both the devices. Thank you.